The year 2025 brought to me my most hard-to-find, expensive comics in my entire collection. Sitting at the #1 spot is a comic that is potentially worth tens of thousands of dollars. The 10 most rare comics I found of 2025 coming up next. What is up, guys? Welcome to the Paper Chase channel. Like, subscribe if you're new here. Welcome. My name's John. I make comic book YouTube videos when I have the time, and I like to try to get information in these videos that might help you as the viewer, or it could just be some nice eye candy, some books that you don't see often. You can see some stuff's missing behind the wall here. Well, John, what are you doing? You selling all your stuff? You cashing out? The comic market crashed? No. I'm testing out a theory. I found that, some of my other goals in the comic and art world, having comic books that I love so much around me might actually deter me from reaching some of these goals. So I'm just trying this out. I want to kind of revamp the office, the paper cave, and see if I can maybe get to some other goals while still trying to do what I love and have fun in the collecting side of things. Even though I am sharing with you my most rare, valuable comics that I acquired this year, which the #1 spot, I haven't even made a video on YouTube about. I typically would have made a giant video on this book because it is potentially so valuable, but I didn't because I didn't have the time. I think I did a video on many of these, but maybe some of the best ones I don't even think I did a video on. Some of these you might not know about, so these are great to know about if you're out there in the wild hunting comic books. Let's have some fun. Coming in at number 10. At number 10, we have Spider-Man 2099, the Toy Biz variant. Now, this here came in a small collection that I picked up. Actually, here's the footage of me stumbling upon this comic. It was a lot of fun. Check this out. All right, I think we're pretty much at the end here. Yeah. Come on.
Oh my God.
Oh, fucking shit.
Dude. Okay. There you go. Yeah.
What?
Wow.
So that was actually really cool. My buddy Jacob, Doc Plagueis, was with me live as I was unboxing this, and it was already a great collection. I got it for a great deal, and at the very end, I was like, man, I just need one more hit, and sure enough, I mean, that's just one of the best feelings in the world, especially when you're at the end of a collection, sort through. So, Spider-Man 2099, this thing definitely, this is probably a 9.2 range, but, this is not super, super rare. We'll get to the super, super rare stuff. Number 9. At number 9, we have Spider-Man Life Story, issue number 3, the 1 in 25. I believe it's Akko is the artist on this, the Akko variant. So I've said recently in my other videos that this is a book that was on my modern variant bucket list for a long, long time. So this is a modern grail of mine. I finally found one for a great price on eBay, pulled the trigger. I want to say I got it for just under $100 or so, but this one is heavily, heavily overlooked. If you know me, 80s vibe is my whole thing. It's not my whole thing, but it's just something I love. It never gets old to me. And this cover just is one of the greatest covers that encapsulates the 80s and Spidey, Black Suit Spidey, all that stuff. The Twin Towers are on this cover. There's nukes dropping. Mary Jane in the classic 80s aerobics. So this is incredible. Coming in at number 8 is Spider-Man Noir. Now, that's not typically a rare book. I think this book came out in 2008, 2009, something like that. There's a show coming out on Amazon with Nick Cage. I think that could be a sleeper show. I think a lot of people might really get into that show once, it starts going, and if it performs well, we'll see. It's Nick Cage. Hopefully he goes full Cage. But I picked this one up on eBay, and, let's see if you guys can spot what's so special about it. Can you see what is so special? This is a newsstand. Newsstands around this time are extremely, extremely hard to find. Can't remember exactly. I'll put it on the screen what I paid for this. But I don't think this was advertised as a newsstand, so I don't know if the person knew that it was a newsstand or not. But I saw it. It looked like a great deal. Happy I picked it up. And this one might actually be for sale. Right, coming in at number 7 is a book I got from my buddy Willie. I like rare Vampirella books. I love rare Vampirella books, and there are some out there. This one actually already got graded. I got it this year, cleaned it, pressed it, sent it out to get graded. This is Vampirella, issue number 20. This is the Bruce Timm variant. This thing is incredible. This is probably in raw high grade form. This is probably maybe a $200 book, and a 9.8. You're looking at the I think it's $800 to $1,000 roughly right now is where it sits at on the value side. But love this freaking book. Been looking at this one for a long time. This book was at a con. He found it. We were at the same con. We were both working the con. He found it for $75 on somebody's wall. And man, if I would have saw that, I definitely would have picked it up as well. But he was nice enough to do a trade with me. So I actually got this in on a trade. Actually, I got the number 1 spot. I got on a trade as well. Again, wait till you see it. All right, coming in at number 6 from one Bruce Timm book to another. This is actually Hardboiled number 14. This came out in 1992. These are very hard to find. If you can find them, I got this on eBay, and I paid maybe $100 and something for this one, which I actually think is an incredible deal. These do not come up for sale hardly ever, but these are these little paperbacks. They're like noir and detective stories, and a lot of them Bruce Timm did some of the art. So these are not highly publicated and super, super hard to find. So I picked up this one this year. I don't think I'm going to get this one graded. It's probably like a mid-grade. I think it's got some printer defects. But anyway, incredible Bruce Timm cover art on this. Yeah, so if you ever see any little paperbacks like this with Bruce Timm art on it, and especially if they're sub $100, definitely pick them up because hard to get. I definitely did a video on this one and still have yet to get this graded. But at number 5, we've got Young Allies, number 6, the Art Adams variant. Holy, this thing here, if you know about the modern variants, this thing is so hard to find. So I got this in a collection of a bunch of other books. But this got wild because I actually thought this was lost in the mail. Because the guy, first I thought it was a scam. I was like, how is this guy including this in this lot of books for this price? The guy definitely knew about comics. He had a bunch of comics on this page and for sale. At first I was like, is this guy scamming me? Well, he sent the books. It was maybe a few hundred books. He sent them in 2 boxes, right? So again, check out this video. It was a roller coaster. So the first box came. This book wasn't in it. And then the other box had gotten lost in the mail. And then I waited weeks and weeks, and finally the second box showed up. And lo and behold, it was in there. I was sweating bullets for so long. So variants like this came out in I think the early 2010s, maybe 2010 to 2012, something like that. But these variants from this era, the way modern variants are going, it's this little sweet spot in the modern variant game. This little era here where before variants became a thing, before there were 100 covers for, whatever issue that was coming out. These are the ones I think that are really going to be sought after and hold some stability as we go, further into the future. What a cover. This is one I've already sent to CGC. This is definitely one of my most valuable books in my collection, I would say for sure. This is Supernatural's number 1, the Greg Capullo variant, and it's a 9.8. How incredible. Again, thanks. So my buddy Willie has helped me with 2 books on this list. I got this one from him as well, I think in a trade and some cash. But I don't think a 9.8 of this has ever sold. And this stands as, to this date, one of the most difficult books I have ever pressed. Because if you've ever seen this issue, there's a mask in the middle of it, and there's all of these trifold and bifold pages. So you're talking about inserts galore. Has to be the right amount of pressure, because the more inserts you add into a book, the more you risk of popping the staples. So it gets very, very delicate here. So pleased that I got the 9.8 on this. Oh, hell of a rare book, especially in this condition. We got some Golden Age L.B. Cole goodness here. Popular Teenagers, number 11. This incredible L.B. Cole cover. This came in a small, very small collection of Golden Age books with a lot of Matt Baker covers in it. Really those Matt Baker covers that were also in this lot here, I probably could have included with this, but I just felt like including this one because it's just kind of the most unique looking. And best cover in my opinion. But yeah, classic L.B. Cole comic. Definitely not a lot of them out there. Comps will be on the screen. It is 100% complete, and after I clean and a press, I think I can get this book to a 5.5, maybe a 6.0, which would be incredible. So yeah, check that out. I did a great deal with a local friend of mine, the dude with the headband. All of his information below if you want to buy comics from him. He's got great books, great prices. I got a stack of Spider-Man Mark Jewelers. And here's just a photo of the stack here, right? I'm going to cut to an overhead shot of me going through these books here. But so many of these books are in such high grade. There are multiple issues that are 9.8 candidates in this. Now, if you're talking Spider-Man, Mark Jewelers, artwork by Todd McFarlane, and potential 9.8s, you're talking about some very hard to find, very sought after, very expensive books. So we did a nice trade for this lot of books here, and I'll show you, again, there's some more to add to this, but the trade that we did for this here was I traded him, I think 3 or 4 slabs. I might have the photo of the trade, but one of those slabs was a Solson Comics 9.8 first Jim Lee artwork. That in that grade, good God, that is a super hard book to find. So that was included in that trade as well. I want to say it was a $1,400 value maybe for the stack. So that's kind of the deal that we worked out. But as you can see, this is an incredible lot of very hard to find comics in high grade. Mark Jewelers are, not the most rarest thing in the world, but what makes these so rare is the condition of them. I've never seen anything like it in my life. What's this, number 2.5? Well, I'm a complete fool. As I'm editing this, I remembered I completely forgot one of the most rare books I got this year. And I'm going to show it to you in this weird 2.5 segment of this video here. So I got this entire stack of books for $1,100 on eBay. And wait till you see the last book. So this is a third print in pretty good shape. The Raphael came with it. First print number 4. Second print number 2. A Fugitoid. And then first print white layered variant. If you're not familiar with this book, now I did do a video on this, but just to kind of reiterate in case you missed it, the way you can really tell the difference between this one and the original one, this is a special error variant, and it was amongst the first 300 that were ever printed that was taken to a Comic-Con by Eastman and Laird. They did a quick little runoff off the printing press just to bring something to the Comic-Con, and they actually had a misprint, and you can tell it's a misprint by the super dark blues and the white layered sign right here. So of the first print number 2s, this is one of, they say, around 300 to 500 copies, which makes this extremely scarce. And I'll put some comps on the screen, but this was one of the craziest deals. If you combine this with all these other books that I got in this lot for $1,100, this is one of the craziest deals I've gotten ever. Can't believe I forgot this. And this thing is in super good condition. We're probably looking at, at least a 9.2, hopefully a 9.4 on this. So, yep. TMNT number 2, the white layered variant, very hard to get. Number 2 spot is Malibu Sun. Number 8, first front-facing appearance of Evil Ernie. Look at that. Incredible Brian Pulido character. I've talked about this for a while. I think I did a video on it. I definitely did the live unboxing. This in a 9.6 is just ridiculous. Super, super hard to find. You know, in the damn glare. I'm battling the glare with this. You know, in Evil Ernie, the funny thing about this character in this book here, I don't even like, I read the series, right? I have the Evil Ernie 1 through 6, I think. First appearance of Lady Death is in there. You know, I read the series. I'm not a big fan of the story whatsoever, but I love the character. I love the look of the character. This actually reminds me of somebody that I knew in real life that passed away. Really, this reminds me of also, in speaking of Stranger Things, Eddie. I mean, Evil Eddie, huh? Oh, that's a good idea. Evil Eddie. Somebody, maybe I'll try one day to do an art piece where it's a mashup of Evil Ernie and Eddie from Stranger Things, and call it Evil Eddie. I think that would be an incredible art piece for somebody to do. But anyway, this right here in a 9.6 value-wise, again, some of these are so rare and hard to find that the sales don't even happen that often. So we're thinking maybe $2,500, $3,000 in this grade, possibly. Not sure, but pretty incredible. Now, at the number 1 spot, I don't even have the book. I don't even have it in my possession. Why don't I have it in my possession? Okay, flashback to the number 3 spot, the stack of Amazing Spider-Man Mark Jeweller's books. Well, one of those books in that stack was Amazing Spider-Man 316. This is the first full cover appearance of Venom. And that one was one of the ones, after some work, could possibly hit a 9.8. So I really wish I would have had this book for the Todd McFarlane signing, but I had missed the boat. I got the ASM 316 Mark Jewelers after the signing closed. Well, at some point in December, I was lucky enough to scroll through Instagram at the right time. CGC and Todd McFarlane announced they reopened the signing. I ran to my computer, filled out the form, and now that book is currently on its way to get signed by Todd McFarlane. I think this book is going to get a 9.8. There are 2 types of people in this world. There are the people that are like, oh, why'd you say that? You're going to jinx it. Now it's not going to happen. Then there's the other type of person. And I'm the second type. I am the speak it into existence person. I am the, if you believe it hard enough, it will become your reality. And that's exactly what I'm doing. That ASM 316 is going to come back at a 9.8 with a full Todd McFarlane signature and a custom Venom label. And that will be the most valuable, rarest book in my collection. Now, here's something to know. Comps are great. eBay, GPA analysis, Go Collect. All these are great for trying to figure out what your comic books are worth. But keep in mind, a lot of sales happen on the private market, on the, behind the scenes that's never even recorded. So after I had gotten the book, I talked to somebody that is a bit more familiar with some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, some of these deals that are had for some of these very, very rare books that are exchanged hands between people with a lot of money and often bypass the auction houses and selling platforms and things like that. So I was advised that this book could have a potential value based off of previous sales anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000. That was before the signature. Now, I don't know how much. Now, let's say if it becomes a 9.8, which I think it will be a 9.8 with a full Todd McFarlane signature, I'm willing to bet that the value of this, or at least the value that I'm going to put behind it, is going to be between $15,000 to $20,000 because it will literally be a one of one in the world. It will be the best version of ASM 316 that will be out there. 9.8 Mark Jeweler signed by Todd McFarlane, full Todd. Custom label. There will not be a better version unless there's one of these out there with a Stan Lee signature. There will not be a better version of this book. And it's funny because this book eluded me for all of my years of collecting, which is actually not all that long. It's only about 5 years I've been doing this. I never ran into this book ever. And then this year I ran into 2 of them, the second one being the Mark Jeweler. So, speaking it into existence, this will be a 9.8. It will be the most insane book that I own, and I can't wait to get it back and share it with you guys. And that's it. That's the 10 most rare comics I found in 2025. What will this year bring? I have no idea. So let me know in the comments below, do you guys have any of these books here? What did you think? Talk some shit. People love talking shit in the comments. And it's fun to read. So yeah, let loose. And that's it. I will try to make more videos when I can. But as always, I appreciate you tuning in. See you on the next page.